Time once again to turn back the clock on the week in local news headlines. I'm Kenesha Dees, and this is the Fox 54 Week in Review. So much to cover this week. Here's just a sample of what's in store. In just a few days, the debut of the South Star Festival is sure to rock Huntsville. We'll bring you along for the last-minute preparations. Lakewood Elementary finds itself in controversy surrounding the future of its current campus and what may move in after they move out. We'll talk about that and why it involves the candidates in the city of Huntsville's upcoming runoff elections. And school campuses across North Alabama responding to an influx of threats on safety, many unfounded, but all keeping parents in a heightened state of alert. That is our top story this week. Nearly every school day for the past 2 weeks, our newsrooms have been notified of at least one threat made either verbally or virtually towards a North Alabama school or the people who study and work there. In many cases, those responsible for the threats, even if the person claimed not to be serious, now find themselves in very serious trouble.
Last week, several schools in North Alabama were on high alert after a multitude of threats surfaced online. Officials in Wellstone County say the most recent threat was made on Snapchat directed towards Clements High School students. Elkmont and Tanner High School have also seen online threats made towards them. 4 Wellstone County students were arrested as a result for making terrorist threats in the second degree. We spoke to Superintendent Dr. Randy Sherhouse about the recent arrests and why it's important not to take any threat lightly.
We're going to do and look at each threat that takes place or each rumor that takes place and make sure that we follow up on it. It's taken a lot of time this week to look into every rumor that we've received, every threat that we've received, but I do think it's worthwhile. You have to. Even if it's something someone says in passing or someone heard something in the bathroom, you follow through and make sure that you investigate it.
And it's not just Wellstone County taking note of online threats. Madison County schools and Boaz City schools moved to a, quote, heightened awareness status earlier this week. MCSS was made aware of social media threats made towards Sparkman High, Buckhorn High, Hazel Green High, and Central School. And although no student arrest or threats were made at Madison City schools, Superintendent Dr. Ed Nichols released a video assuring parents, students, and staff that a school security committee is being reactivated and steps have already been taken to shore up safety, with more in the works.
We've done a lot in the last year. We've added extra non-armed security personnel. We're adding and working with our city to expand our SROs as we can find those officers and they can be trained. And we also have done our crisis alert system. And we're utilizing all of these as well as looking at our facilities, our doors, and other areas that we can tighten security.
An Athens Intermediate School 5th grader was also arrested on Friday for making a terrorist threat. Officials say the 10-year-old was, quote, texting threats to students at Athens Middle School. Athens Police Chief Anthony Presnell sharing in statement in part, quote, our department takes any threat seriously. Students need to realize there are consequences for making such threats. So what consequences can students receive as a result of making online threats? We did a little digging and can verify what some of those consequences are. We have verified that yes, children can indeed face charges for making terroristic threats, whether or not they intend to follow through. Even pranks or, quote, jokes posts can lead to criminal charges. Our sources are Wellstone and Morgan County Sheriff's Office and the Alabama Criminal Code. Making a terroristic threat is considered a Class C felony in Alabama. Those found guilty can face up to 10 years in jail. Minors can face an equivalent amount of time in juvenile facilities. The local agencies who've spoken out this week said they do intend to prosecute. Officials also say to not share a threat made on social media. They say a threat going viral, quote, adds fuel to the fire. For more information on the recent social media threats and potential consequences, you can visit FOX54.com.
A Decatur special city council meeting was called today. While there were only a few topics discussed, one stood out more than others. City council members approved a resolution to give Green Research and Technology 400 more hours to complete their third-party investigation on the Decatur Police Department. It will cost the city more than $100 grand. We spoke with members of the community about their thoughts on the additional time being granted.
If public safety is a number one priority, then we should give all of the funding that we can to ensure that public safety is getting the training, the opportunities, the communication, everything that they need, the better leadership skills that they need in order to continue and be better for the community.
The official vote, 4-1, the odd man out being Councilmember Hunter Pepper. He questioned one individual from the third party about being found guilty on an Alabama ethics charge. We spoke to Pepper about the person and why it should be considered.
If somebody in their staff has already been held up on charges for transparency, how can we expect them to be transparent? I believe that the third-party review is necessary. I believe that we should have done more research into the agency that is conducting the review. I believe that we also should have looked at different agencies and considered other agencies in this situation.
The next scheduled City Council meeting for Decatur is October 7th at 6 p.m. Back in 2022, Wellstone opened one of 6 crisis care centers in the state, and it was to help address the critical need of mental health services in the city of Huntsville. Today, Wellstone is addressing that need in children as well. The facility will be the first 24/7 standalone crisis center for adolescents in Madison County, as well as the entire state of Alabama, serving youth 12 to 18 years old. Leaders there, including Governor Kay Ivey, spoke on Alabama's dedication to making sure all ages have better access to adequate health care in the state.
We take another monumental step forward in addressing mental health needs, this time for our youth. Mental health care is a top priority for my administration, and it's long past time that we make the investments needed to care for the well-being of Alabamians of all ages.
And for more information on Wellstone Services, visit our website, FOX54.com.
The future of what is currently Lakewood Elementary remains in limbo as Huntsville City Schools' recently approved capital plan goes in motion. Under the current feeder plan for Jemison High School, Lakewood is expected to receive a new home moving to the present location of the Academy of Science and Foreign Language. But it's the rumored proposal to turn the current Lakewood facility on Kenwood Drive into an alternative school, which has drawn concern from some community members. District 1 School Board candidate Chandra Drones sharing in a statement released today in part, quote, "Our community deserves to be informed about decisions that affect their neighborhoods and their children's education. The closure of Lakewood Elementary and its conversion into an alternative school was a significant decision that should have involved open dialogue with the community." Current District 1 Board member Michelle Watkins confirmed with Fox 54 on Thursday there are discussions about the future of Lakewood's current campus. However, she made clear nothing has been set in stone at this point.
The superintendent has not made a decision on that yet. He has some ideas, he just hasn't made a decision yet. Once they have been moved off the campus, then we will move forward with building a new Lakewood, and that's slated to begin in 2029, 2030. We have individuals, grown individuals, running around here wanting second chances, but you want to throw the kids away? That offends me deeply. These are our students. We're going to help them. We're going to give them the resources they need. We're going to give them the support they need to help them be successful.
In June, Watkins was heard at a League of Women Voters function saying the Apollo Alternative School was planned to take the Lakewood facilities. But again, no plan has been finalized.
To Dr. Sutton and his team was what was going to happen to Lakewood.
For many, it's the question surrounding the Huntsville City Schools capital plan. Lakewood is slated to have a brand new campus on property known today as the Academy for Science and Foreign Language. ASFL Elementary and Middle will move to Montview Elementary and Chapman Middle.
ASFL is a magnet school that's a feeder for New Century Magnet School, which is in the Lee High School feeder pattern. So it makes perfect sense to put it over into the Lee High School district.
The future for Lakewood is uncertain. Many nearby are concerned the building will become the new home of an alternative school for students with disciplinary and behavioral issues.
You can't leave a vacated building that was not good enough for the current students and then say that the alternative students that are being moved there, it's good enough for them.
Michelle Watkins is running for the District 1 City Council seat held by Devin Keith. It's the council post representing this part of town. At a recent debate, she suggested the deal is all but done.
My concern is, as well as the people of this community, how many people she got to give that input.
Dr. Sutton asked me what I thought about it. I told him I didn't see it being a problem. What people don't understand, the Apollo Academy is already in District 1.
Watkins isn't happy with the public's negative response.
Are we going to throw our students away because they make a mistake? That's concerning to me when society says we don't want them in our backyard.
And while there's going to be a lot of change coming up for Huntsville City Schools in the next decade, a big importance is being placed on communication with the community.
I think transparency is a big part and will play a big part in this plan as it moves forward.
Officials held community meetings to make sure they were covering all their bases.
Everyone had an opportunity to talk about the strengths, the weaknesses, what did they want to see in their schools, what did they want resolved in their schools.
And with the capital plan set to impact around 24,000 students, involving the community in conversations is key.
You want to have buy-in from the entire community in order to move plans forward. And when people have felt like they are left out of the process, then that really makes a big difference.
There are currently no set plans for what is to happen with the soon-to-be former Lakewood Elementary campus. In Huntsville, I'm Gabe Glassman, FOX54 News.
Runoffs for the District 1 Council and school board seats are set for next Tuesday. For more information on the 9-figure Huntsville Schools capital plan, visit FOX54.com.
Now, FOX54 Top Teacher, sponsored by Calhoun Community College.
It's one thing to learn about history, and it's another to live it. We meet a teacher who brings the textbook to life, known for energizing and innovating her students and making what she's taught stick. Meet this week's top teacher, Sharon Livingston from Westminster Christian Academy.
Ready?
In Sharon Livingston's class,
Let the battle begin.
students are living out history.
We are reenacting the defeat of the Spanish Armada by the British. So this was a pretty large naval battle. We throw paper balls, and how they move depends on if they were Spanish or British.
Livingston teaches freshman students, spending 14 years overall in education, and this being her 4th at Westminster Christian Academy.
I have always loved history, probably fell in love with it in middle school when I started reading historical fiction.
And one of her students, Carolee Kaufman, can see Livingston's love for history.
You can really just tell that she enjoys teaching us. Even if we do go through some rabbit holes, like she enjoys talking about them and she really knows what she's talking about.
Kaufman says it's a good start to her freshman year and beyond.
This class really just helps me get excited for the rest of my high school career.
And like Kaufman, Livingston's peers appreciate her innovative approach to teaching.
We're very grateful to have Miss Livingston. She makes learning fun, and she also meets the students where they are. So we feel like as a Christian school, Jesus is the best example of a teacher, and he treats his disciples differently based on what they need. Miss Livingston definitely does that in her classroom.
But Livingston hopes her lessons carry far beyond acting out history in the moment.
Hopefully, and with my subject in particular, is continuing to remind them that this really does connect to them. Like, they're a few years from voting. What foreign policy do you want the American government to follow? What do you feel on these issues? And I hope they view my class as being a piece of that.
Congratulations, Sharon. Another fun fact is that she teaches podcasts to juniors and seniors. We've got to look at the moment she was surprised as top teacher. Check it out and nominated teacher at fox54.com. We take you to Westminster. It was the Wildcats homecoming week, and it was a big night with their homecoming football game against rival Randolph School. But we're going to take a time out and introduce you to some students who are excited about some new facilities. And we're not talking about for football. Here's a look. For senior Kaylin McCree, it's on season for flag football on the field. But in the off season, it's all about softball and baseball. Pretty soon, softball practice for her could be quite different.
I am excited.
Excited about 2 new covered hitting facilities for the baseball and softball programs.
I think the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is we start off season when the weather is super duper cold. So having a place where it might be a little bit more insulated, it makes it a little bit more enjoyable.
The work for the coverings is not done yet, but
next group right here on bands, let's go.
Principal and head baseball coach Jason Anderson says the new 50 by 80-foot facility will hold at least 3 long cages. Players will also have turf, and the covering will include netting.
This will give us a dry place to be able to go in, get the wind off of you a little bit, and really be able to get a lot of work in.
Senior baseball player Amos Baldwin is excited about the upgrade too, and it's coming in just before he graduates.
We don't skip, we don't miss days, we never cancel practice, and so like being able to come here and have this opportunity, something here on campus to use, because we've had to go elsewhere, which wastes time and isn't efficient. So I think that's huge, and I'm excited about it.
Athletic Director Jonathan Adams says it's a good chance to maximize practice time.
Anytime that we can expand our facilities to give our student athletes a better opportunity to succeed and separate themselves from the opposing teams that they're playing is tremendous.
So in the meantime,
just having this being built for us specifically is just an incredible blessing, and we're super excited.
McCree will count her blessings while she's out on the field. Now I am excited to see what these new cover hitting facilities will bring. Westminster Principal Anderson told me both could cost about $150,000 once that's outfitted for wiring. He said contributions to the school's annual fund are making it possible. It's a blast from the past with a bit of a new look. Alabama A&M University on Monday formally introduced Standing Butch as an official school logo. If it looks familiar, it's because a similar posed pup was a longtime part of the school's identity, but that logo was retired years ago. The new look, Standing Bulldog, shares a lot of traits with his predecessor, with some tweaks and upgrades. It's now available on official university merchandise. Northeast Alabama Community College with an exciting sports announcement. President Dr. David Campbell sharing this week that the college is adding another sport to its athletic program, men's soccer. The announcement comes after the Alabama Community College system approved the college's request to build a new soccer field last week. The Mustangs are expected to take the soccer field next fall. We have a couple of updates coming to Huntsville International Airport that you need to know. First, a reminder that if you haven't gotten your Real ID, you need to do that. Starting in May of next year, Real ID will be required to fly. TSA Federal Security Director Tara Kors explains why these upgraded IDs are important for security.
Real ID is an enhanced security feature on your driver's license or on your state ID. The Real ID feature is ensuring that there is an enhanced security within that ID. It cannot be duplicated, and it is another aspect to where there's not going to be a fraudulent aspect to it.
And Huntsville International Airport also has a few new additions to their team. You might see this one for Legged Friend on the concourse to help make passengers more comfortable before their flights. Airport official Taylin Walton shared how a one-day event turned into so much more.
And it was just a wonderful time, and we had such a great response, and we knew that was something that we wanted to look into. And so we worked with therapy partners on getting that set up. If we have a major delay or anything like that, we can call on them and they'll come out just to hang out for a little while, just to ease any of those passengers.
Oh, certainly. Well, the dogs work on a rotating schedule with different dogs at the airport on different days of the week for a few hours at a time. And we will stay in the Rocket City. Apparently there's an urgent plea for the community to help out with Huntsville Animal Services. The shelter sharing on Facebook it's over capacity. Officials say they took in 35 cats and 18 dogs yesterday. HAS says its stray hold area is now a mixture of adoptable dogs and stray hold dogs in single kennels. If you're unable to adopt, please consider fostering these sweet little fur babies you see there. For more information about the shelter, visit our website. Temperatures begin to cool just a smidgen in Alabama. Officials with the USDA Forest Service are urging the public to be aware and alert when hiking this fall. It's because of southern pine beetles, a native species that causes structural defects to trees, making them fall in whole or in part at times. Officials say falling trees are an ever-present hazard when exploring forests because of these bugs. So what do you need to look out for? Officials say you should look up and avoid dense patches of brown, yellow, or reddish tree canopies. You should also look down to avoid slips, trips, and falls from dead trees, and simply be aware when it's windy. The wind could blow down trees.
Today was the last day of the 27th edition of Oktoberfest at Redstone Arsenal. People in attendance broke out the lederhosen ready to enjoy some German cuisine, carnival rides, and overall a good time. This event has seen tens of thousands of people come onto the Arsenal in the past. We spoke to officials about how this event and others help with building a good relationship with the community.
It is awesome to see people coming back to Redstone Arsenal to have a good time as a family. It's just amazing to see.
We're very lucky to have a community that's so supportive of Redstone Arsenal and everything that's done out here.
Any relationship is built on seeing each other, right? Or having a conversation or having a good time together. So we're trying to provide that environment for families to have a really good time because it builds a relationship with the community.
People tell me they were most excited for the German food, music, and of course the beer. And some sad news for some music fans today. South Star Music Festival officials releasing a statement today saying in part, quote, Jane's Addiction will no longer be performing at South Star. We are working hard to find a replacement, end quote. It's all after the lead singer Perry Farrell was seen punching guitarist Dave Navarro during Friday night's show in Boston. Dave, along with other members of the group, Eric and Stephen, released a joint statement giving the reasoning behind the cancellation of their current tour, saying in part, quote, due to a continuing pattern of behavior and the mental health difficulties of our singer Perry Farrell, we have no choice but to discontinue the current U.S. tour, end quote.
What you're about to see here is the full lineup with Gwen Stefani and Blink-182 headlining the event. So what did it take to get to this point? Our Gabe Glassman spoke with Huntsville officials about the final preparations before these artists hit the stage and fans pour into the festival.
What you see behind me may just seem like an empty field, but give it just over a week and it will be filled with tens of thousands of people attending South Star Music Festival.
We're a week away from our community in North Alabama seeing a size, scale, and quality festival that I don't know that's ever happened in North Alabama at this scale.
The big event is set for the final weekend of September. Huntsville officials and C3 Presents have been hard at work to make it a reality. Shane Davis says they've been meeting regularly, discussing every topic imaginable.
It's a long 2-page list that's gone through in very much minutia detail every Friday now for the past 4 months.
Construction workers are out this week laying asphalt, preparing John Hunt Park for the big crowds.
Over the weekend, 40 to 45,000 people will be on John Hunt Park.
The festival is expected to bring millions of dollars into the community, significant in terms of economic impact when it comes to hotels for out-of-town guests.
Everything downtown, south, north, and southeast is sold out.
It's taken some quick work to put the party together.
The first festival is going to be September of 2025. After signing that contract, they said, we think we have the ability to really put the first festival in 2024.
The challenges faced were surprisingly minimal when it came to putting this show on a year earlier than expected.
I think the challenge is trying to let North Alabama, Southern Tennessee, the Huntsville community understand the quality, the scale, and the size this festival is.
And for those who haven't bought their tickets yet,
next week, drive by and see just the scale of the stages and the sports halls. It starts to rise up out of the ground. And I think you really start to see, hey, this is really a high-class festival.
For those attending, transportation will be available by rideshare, bus, and parking locations. In Huntsville, I'm Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Pretty soon you'll see a lot of orange cones on I-565 and prepare to get used to it. A lot of changes are happening on that major highway starting Sunday, and it's because of a $29 million project will take shape west of Huntsville. Work will reach from west of County Line Road to east of Waltriana Highway, adding more lanes and widening 2 sets of bridges. Our Ken McCoy spoke with AlDOT on what drivers can expect once this project is completed.
Starting Sunday, the process to improve traffic on one of the city's most traveled highways begins. And like most road projects, there's a little traffic to be expected and some driving adjustments to be made. But the benefits of this project is one a growing city desperately needs.
Obviously, 565 is a very busy roadway.
The phrase, improving the infrastructure, is one area residents should be used to hearing, especially when it comes to the roads.
There's a lot of people that commute into Huntsville. There's a lot of traffic on 565 every day.
The project will give drivers an additional lane in each direction, making for better traffic flow.
This project is to widen I-565 through Madison. That is beginning just west of County Line Road and going to east of Wall Triana Highway. The interstate is going to go from 4 to 6 lanes as a result of this project.
565 sees many cars, bikes, and other wielded vessels daily.
A few years ago, after the Rebuild Alabama Act passed, we were able to secure the funding to do a project to widen from I-65 to County Line Road. So this project's going to pick up where that one left off.
But in order to improve traffic flow long term, drivers will need to make some adjustments in the meantime.
What the contractor is going to be doing initially is kind of preparing. Traffic will be shifted over a little bit to the outside, and they will be placing concrete barrier rails along the inside shoulder, closing that inside shoulder, and those barriers will separate traffic from the work area.
But only if you drive at a specific time.
We certainly don't want to impact rush hour traffic, avoid any kind of impacts to traffic during the day as much as possible. So we are restricting those lane closures to nighttime.
ALDOT says these closures will be from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Sunday nights through Friday mornings. In Huntsville, Ken McCoy, Fox 54 News.
And a reminder that the 2-year-long project, as it gets underway, Alabama recently increased the penalty for speeding and other driving offenses in a construction zone. If you're caught, you face a fine of $250 or double whatever the normal penalty would be for a moving violation, whichever is higher. The change took effect in 2021. More business making its way to the Tennessee Valley, with more coming soon to the Athens and Madison areas. New dining will arrive in Athens soon. Just take a look. Officials with the city tell us that a Texas Roadhouse, Five Guys, and a Nothing But Cakes are all in the works. Texas Roadhouse will be built right next to the new 7 Brew off of Highway 72. Five Guys and Nothing But Cakes will be right across the road behind the Russell Stover Chocolate Shop.
The Fox 54 Weather Impact Team will still bring you the region's certified most accurate forecast, but we're honing in more on exactly how the weather will impact you and your family. It's all about the rain that could affect Friday night football games, the cold temperatures that will require a jacket for the kiddos at the bus stop, the wind that could cause problems for tents at a festival. And when the weather is particularly rough, we'll hike up the volume just a bit via weather impact alert days that emphasize safety and add attention to an evolving situation. The Fox 54 Weather Impact Team will be there to keep you accurately informed on how the weather will impact you the most.
Thanks so much, Emily. What constitutes a weather impact alert day? Weather that impacts you the most. Winter weather, tornadoes, extreme heat, extreme cold, dangerous flooding, and even poor air quality. All of these things can adversely impact your day-to-day life. The goal of the Fox 54 Weather Impact Team is to provide you the most up-to-date information on air and online, minimizing that impact as much as possible, all while giving you the most accurate forecast you've come to expect.
Thanks, Jordan and Emily. Remember to visit fox54.com and our mobile apps for weather impact alerts, breaking news, and sports headlines. Also, check out Fox 54 Plus on your Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV devices for more exclusive programs just like the one you're watching. That's all for this week. For the Fox 54 News Team, I'm Kenesha Dees. See you next time.